In this video, we're going to be looking at contains duplicate 2, which is LeetCode problem 219. This problem states that given an integer array nums and an integer k, return true if there are two distinct indices I and j in the array such that nums of I is equal to nums of j, and the absolute value of I minus j is less than or equal to k. So this is just a minor modification from the contains duplicate 1, which is just trying to determine if there are duplicate numbers in the array. Now this one wants to make sure that the I minus j is less than or equal to k. Alright, so in this first example, we have 1, 2, 3, and 1, with the value of k being 3. So we're working with indices here. So I are 1, so the duplicate number here is 1, and this is indice 0, and this is indice 3. So 3 minus 0 is 3. So that's less than or equal to, so that is true. In the second example, we have indice 0 and indice 2. So 2 minus 0 is 2, which is not less than or equal to k. But indice 2 and indice 3, 3 minus 2 is 1, which is equal to 1. So that is also true. Now in this third example, it's false because indice 1 is at indice 0, and then this one is at indice 3. And 3 minus 0 is 3, which is not less than 2. And this same is true for this 2 and this 2. It's 1 and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 4. So 4 minus 1 is 3. Again, it's not less than 2. And then the 3's, we have 0, 1, 2. So 2 and 3, 4, 5. So 5 minus 2 is 3 again. So that output is false. So the way we're going to do this is basically we're going to use a hash map, and we're just going to loop through all the values in nums, and determine if the indices of the matching numbers are less than the value of k. So to do that, first thing we'll do is get my hands on the home row keys, and we'll do a map that's going to be an integer for the number as well as the indice, and we'll call that map, and we'll instantiate that to a new hash map. Alright, now we just need to loop through int I equals 0, I is less than nums length, I plus plus. Alright, so we're just going to loop through this nums and see what we got. So if the map contains key, if it contains the key of what? Of nums I. So the value at nums I, if it contains that key, then we've got to do some checks here. Now, the first time through, the map doesn't contain anything, so then we're just going to put nums I, and then the value, we'll put the value of the indice as well, of the index as well as the index. And we'll just put that into the map. Alright, so now if we have the value in the map contains that key. So now we need to make sure that the indice in I minus map.get. So now we need to get, so here we're trying to get, so we get nums I, so we're trying to get the indice, or trying to get the value in nums I. and that has to be less than or equal to k, which is the input parameter. So if I minus map get nums of I is less than or equal to k, well, then we're just going to return true. We only need to find the first instance of it. We don't need to keep going through it after we find the first one. And if we get through all that and we still don't have a match or still have a true value, then we just return false. And this is pretty much it. So the only difference between this and the return duplicate is this extra if statement to determine the algorithm that they're asking for. All right, so let's debug this and see what we get. So for this problem, I used example 2, which is 1, 0, 1, 1. And it needs to be less than or equal to 1, which is the second example in LeetCode. So we'll define our hash map and then start looping through it. Now, it contains key, it doesn't. So for the first 2 iterations, we're just going to add maps. So map adds the 0 and the 1. Okay, so map contains key nums of I, which in this case it does. It contains the 1. So now what we need to do is subtract the 2. So we have I equals 2. 2 minus map. Okay, so now we're in the map and we're going to get nums of I. So we're going to get the 1, and the 1 is at position 0. So 2 minus 0 is not less than or equal to 1. So then it's just going to put that number. So now if you look at map, the value of index 1 is actually 2 now. So we're comparing the 2, and now we're going to compare 2 against 3. So map contains key, it contains the 1. So now we're going to get I, which I now is 3, minus get nums of I, 3. So that is now the value 2. So 3 minus 2 is 1, which falls in the range of less than or equal to 1, and returns true. Now let's run this through LeetCode. Whoa, coded it right the first time. And we'll submit it. Look at that. Faster than 90%, as well as uses less memory than 88%. So let's go through the time and space complexity. So the contains key function is O of 1, but because we have a for loop, it's actually O of n. So as we increase the input parameter, that's more times we have to go through more iterations through the for loop. So that's O of n. Same with space complexity. As we increase the input parameter, we're going to need more space. And that is it. So let me know if you have questions, and thanks for watching.